First Amendment. The First Amendment is the cornerstone of personal liberty in the United States, safeguarding 5 fundamental freedoms in one powerful statement. It ensures freedom of religion, meaning you can believe in anything you choose, or nothing at all, without the government establishing an official state church. It protects your freedom of speech, allowing you to voice your opinions, critique the government, and express unpopular ideas, though this right doesn't protect speech that incites violence. This freedom extends to the press, empowering journalists to report on events and hold the powerful accountable without government censorship. You also have the right to peaceably assemble, letting you gather in public spaces for protests, parades, or meetings. Finally, it gives you the power to petition the government for a redress of grievances, meaning you can formally ask for change. Together, these freedoms ensure that citizens can think, speak, and act as the ultimate check on power. Second Amendment. The Second Amendment guarantees the right of the people to keep and bear arms. Historically, this was tied to the need for a well-regulated militia, as the nation's founders were wary of a powerful standing army and relied on armed citizens to defend their communities and the state itself. The core debate has long been whether this right is a collective one tied only to militia service or an individual right for private citizens. Modern Supreme Court rulings have interpreted it primarily as an individual right, meaning a person has a right to own a firearm for purposes like self-defense within the home. However, this right is not absolute. The government can and does regulate it. For instance, there are laws preventing convicted felons from owning guns and restrictions on certain types of weapons, illustrating the ongoing and passionate national conversation about balancing individual liberty with public safety. Third Amendment. Imagine a knock on your door, and standing there are uniformed soldiers who declare they'll be using your spare bedroom and eating your food indefinitely. This wasn't a hypothetical fear for America's founders. It was a bitter reality under British rule, where quartering acts forced colonists to house and support soldiers against their will, turning private homes into military barracks. The Third Amendment was written to slam that door shut forever, stating plainly that in peacetime, no soldier can be quartered in any house without the owner's consent. And even during a war, the government can't just do as it pleases. It must follow specific laws passed for that purpose. While it's one of the least cited amendments today, its power is in its clarity, drawing a bold line that establishes your home as a sanctuary protected from military intrusion, and affirming the fundamental principle that a citizen's life and property are separate from the armed forces of the state. Fourth Amendment. The Fourth Amendment establishes your right to privacy, essentially putting a legal lock on your personal world. It protects you from unreasonable searches and seizures, meaning the government and police can't just barge into your home, search your car, or seize your property on a whim. For instance, if authorities suspect you have something illegal, they generally can't just break down your door. They first need to convince a judge with evidence that there is probable cause, and then get a specific warrant that details exactly where they are allowed to search and what they are looking for. This prevents broad, baseless intrusions into your life. In our modern world, this protection isn't just about physical spaces. It's the core of ongoing debates about the privacy of our digital lives, including our phones, emails, and online data, ensuring that our personal world remains private unless the government has a very good, legally justified reason to enter it. Fifth Amendment. You've probably heard characters in movies shout, "I plead the Fifth." And while that is a huge part of the Fifth Amendment, it's actually a bundle of protections designed to ensure fair treatment from the government. The famous right to remain silent means you cannot be forced to testify against yourself, preventing coerced confessions. But it also protects you from double jeopardy, meaning if a jury finds you not guilty of a crime, you can't be put on trial for that exact same crime ever again. This amendment guarantees due process, a fundamental promise that the government must follow all the legal rules and procedures before it can take away your life, liberty, or property. And speaking of property, the government can take your land for public use, like for a new highway, but only if it pays you a fair price for it. Together, these rights create a powerful shield, ensuring the legal process remains just and the power of the state is kept in check. Sixth Amendment. If you're ever accused of a crime, the Sixth Amendment is your personal rulebook for a fair fight. It guarantees you a speedy and public trial, meaning the government can't just lock you away and forget about you. and the proceedings happen out in the open, not behind closed doors. Your case must be heard by an impartial jury of your peers, not a biased official deciding your fate alone. This amendment also ensures you know exactly what crime you're being charged with, and it gives you the power to confront the witnesses testifying against you, allowing your lawyer to question their story. You can even call your own witnesses to help your case. And perhaps most critically, you have the right to a lawyer. If you can't afford one, the court must provide one for you, ensuring that a powerful legal defense isn't just a privilege for the wealthy, but a right for everyone. Seventh Amendment. Imagine you hire a contractor who does a terrible job and you sue them for the money you paid. This is where the Seventh Amendment steps in. Unlike the dramatic criminal trials we often see, this amendment guarantees your right to a jury trial in certain civil cases, disputes between people or organizations, usually over money or property. The text famously mentions disputes over $20, which was a significant sum in the late 1700s. While today the financial threshold for a federal case is much higher, the core principle is the same: to prevent a single, powerful judge from having the final say over your personal affairs. It ensures that a group of your peers, a jury, gets to hear the evidence and decide the facts of the case. This puts a crucial check on judicial power and keeps important decisions in the hands of the community. Eighth Amendment. The Eighth Amendment draws a crucial line for our justice system, protecting individuals from punishments that are either excessive or inhumane. It ensures that after an arrest, bail cannot be set at an impossibly high amount just to keep someone locked up before trial. The amount must be reasonable and fit the alleged crime. Likewise, fines imposed after a conviction must be proportionate, meaning you can't be hit with $1 million penalty for a minor traffic violation. The most famous and debated part of this amendment, however, is its ban on cruel and unusual punishments. This concept is intentionally flexible, designed to evolve with society's standards of decency. While public branding might have been considered normal in the 18th century, today it's unthinkable. This evolving standard is why we have ongoing legal battles over the death penalty, lengthy solitary confinement, and the fundamental rights of inmates, all in an effort to ensure that even when the government punishes, it must do so with a measure of humanity. Ninth Amendment. Imagine the founders making a list of your most important freedoms, like speech and religion, but they had a nagging worry. What if they forgot one? What if, in the future, a government claimed that if a right isn't on the list, you simply don't have it? That's the entire purpose of the Ninth Amendment. It's a constitutional safety net, declaring that just because a specific right isn't written down in the Constitution, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist or that it can be ignored. Think about your right to choose a career, decide who to marry, or travel freely between states. None of these are explicitly mentioned, yet we consider them fundamental. This amendment has been a powerful foundation for a right to privacy, safeguarding personal decisions about your family and your body. In essence, the Ninth Amendment ensures the Bill of Rights is a floor for our freedoms, not a ceiling, protecting the vast, unwritten universe of personal liberties that belong to the people. 10th Amendment. The 10th Amendment acts as the Constitution's fundamental rule for dividing power. It states a clear principle: any authority not specifically handed to the federal government, nor forbidden to the states, is reserved for the states themselves or for the people. Think of the federal government as having a specific job description that includes things like declaring war or printing money. For almost everything else not on that list, the states are in charge. This is the reason why getting a driver's license in Ohio involves different rules than in Oregon, why local school standards are set by your state and not Washington, D.C., and why most day-to-day laws are created closer to home. By drawing this line in the sand, the 10th Amendment ensures the national government doesn't become all-powerful, preserving a crucial balance and keeping significant control in the hands of the states and their citizens.